Walmart stock, ticker symbol WMT stock, is selling off. What's going on? When you look at Walmart stock, when you kind of figure out the entire economy, you can see how our economy is starting to contract somewhat. These are concerns that management is making notice of going forward. Because of this, Walmart stock has been selling off. We've seen personal incomes contract somewhat. We're seeing expenditures contract. We're seeing unemployment move up slightly. Now, it doesn't feel as if we're there yet, that this is a hard landing. It may be a soft landing. Walmart stock is still kind of moving upward over a longer period of time, but let's break down what's happening with WMT stock, and I'll show you what I'm looking at and what to expect from Walmart stock, ticker symbol WMT. Let's jump in. If you are just joining me for the first time, thanks so much. I'm an economist, and I look at the broader economy first and foremost, and then show how that will affect the stock market. And in this case, we're looking at Walmart stock. WMT is the ticker symbol. You're looking at the 4-hour bar chart right there, and you can see the big sell-off we had at the earnings just, what was that, last week. Since then, still WMT stock, Walmart stock is sliding lower continuously. What's going on? Interest rates moved higher. Not sure if you got that memo. Who does that affect the most? And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense that Walmart would be the first layer of individuals who are feeling the crunch. When you raise interest rates, the wealthiest in America, or in the United States, don't really feel it as much. And as you move down lower and lower in the income ladder, the lower you get, the bigger the pinch. Given that, who shops at Walmart most likely? Now, I go into Walmart whenever I need to get whatever really inexpensively. And they have a nice vegetable rack. I'll hit it up, just like the rest of us. But ultimately, the lowest on the income level are the ones who shop the most at Walmart. And I'm not trying to make a big political statement or anything like that. I'm just trying to point out some basic facts when you're looking at this. So if we do see the economy kind of contract somewhat, if interest rates start to push higher, and it does affect individuals who are living paycheck to paycheck, you're going to see revenues decline because what income they have left is getting swept up via higher interest rates. So they're not shopping as much at Walmart. Walmart stock, ticker symbol WMT, sells off just like this. Management came out and basically said, we're feeling it. I don't know that we're in a full-blown beginning of a recession just yet. In fact, I think that the economy is likely to dip somewhat. We'll see some contraction. We're going to see stocks like Walmart stock kind of dip a little bit, but I expect the economy to kind of just dip somewhat and then keep going a little further. And I'm talking all through 2024, and I've done my 2024 stock market analysis, and I kind of pointed this out, that we will probably see some small contraction in incomes, which we're starting to see, consumption, and then unemployment, but then turn right back up. And because of that, inflation is going to do exactly the same thing. Then the Federal Reserve is going to have to get serious. That's probably 2025. Moving forward, here's a look at what quarterly revenue we did see for Walmart, 160.8, pretty much right on par for these guys. Projected revenue, 2024, and this is where you really got to kind of ask the question, are they going to hit that number? Now, I had, from the previous time I did a Walmart stock analysis, I had 638 point change. So there's just a kind of a slight move higher. 2025 didn't really move higher based on analysts' projections. Are they even going to hit the 638 that I mentioned earlier? If we do see a contraction in the economy of, say, 1%, Walmart would feel that. And then Walmart stock will print what it's going to print because of that. Let's move forward through the gross margins, or the margins. 24.6 on gross margins, operating margins 3.86. Then finally, net margins 0.28. This is part of the issue. These guys are running kind of razor thin margins. I like Walmart because they're continuously increasing their revenue in an economy that is continuously expanding. the Wall Street loves Walmart because they churn out dividends on a regular, consistent basis. But margins are razor thin. So when you do see any kind of fluctuation in, say, costs or revenue, you're going to see it hit net margins really hard. And that's exactly what happened. Earnings per share, of course, there you can see, same story. Moving forward, projected earnings per share 2024, $6.47. This was kind of moved higher along with revenue. I don't think they're going to hit it. And that's really kind of a key thing. Price to earnings ratio, 27.13. In my book, that's still rich. I wouldn't be touching Walmart at these levels, but it's still kind of interesting. Let's break things down. Price that I saw earlier this morning, 149, call it 150, but they are sub 150. Earnings per share, 647 if they hit it. WMT yield, you take the 647, divide that over top of the 149, you're getting 4.32% yield. Treasury yield right now, 10-year, the benchmark, what you compare everything to, 4.278. So Walmart, seeing this kind of dip right now, is outperforming a potential investment in the U.S. Treasury market. That makes things interesting. Would I necessarily jump in on Walmart stock if WMT is printing at 149? I think I would be sort of a greedy capitalist, if you would, and I'd want a better price, maybe 120. Could we get there? Eventually, I think that is a possibility. I would look at Walmart not necessarily as a value investment, although it could outperform on a yield basis the 10-year yield. I would look at Walmart as a stock trade. If we did see a print of, say, 120 over the course of the next 3, 4, 6 months, the reason is simple. Because once Walmart does kick back upward, and you can get that stock, Walmart stock, WMT sub 150, printing 120 or thereabouts, this is a company that in a growing economy would produce increasing revenues. Everybody loves Walmart on Wall Street. I'm not a big fan of the yield or of the net margins being as low as they are. But if you give me a price good enough, all of a sudden I could see a lot of arguments to get in at a much better price. Now, to get down to 120, we're probably going to see the stock market fall significantly. So a lot of stocks are going to be on sale. This isn't necessarily a performance issue on Walmart as much as it is the economy will contract somewhat. So that's when you sharpen your pencils and you start picking out the stock trades you want and the value investments that you want. Walmart stock could easily be one of those kinds of stocks. Here's a bigger look at the weekly chart. And as you can see, 120 isn't a far shot. Now, 2022, of course, we saw sharp selling across the board. And once we realized that inflation is really high, the Federal Reserve is going to really push interest rates much higher, all of the stock market, biggest stocks sold off, but have rebounded. So a 120 print, given an economy that contracts somewhat, revenues start to shift, valuations get a little more appropriate, you're looking at Walmart stock and you're thinking, hit the buy button on WMT stock. That could be a solid stock trade. I'm not in love with the net margins. Net margins for the S&P, the broader index, over 10%. I think it's like 10.25 so far for Q3. Where in Walmart's best days, 10% is really a long shot. Me personally, I'd want to find a stock that outperforms the broader market. And I don't know that Walmart stock necessarily is going to do that per se. That's why I flip it over to a concept of stock trade. Because if we do see 120 or sub 120, the stock market is going to support Walmart. We would just need to work through any kind of economic malaise at the moment. Then all of a sudden you'll see Walmart stock, WMT, moving right back up. Make sure to hit that like and follow button. I break everything down based on the economy. Right now the economy is turning somewhat. Given that, You want to hit that like and follow button. Stay in touch. We'll see you in the next video.